What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, sporting in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Nullus. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Grassengroom. We've got ourselves a fun game here for you guys here. Oranos versus Hades on Alfheim. This one's always a spicy one because what ends up happening is there's some win conditions for Atlantean and there's some win conditions for Hades, and both are very, very specific. So you have to play very well in order to get victories here in this matchup. So we'll see how this is going to go. Nullus over here. He hasn't actually, well, he has actually found his hunt. Alfheim is one of the hardest maps to play efficiently on because of the low hunt nature and the randomness of where the elks spawn. This is basically Alfheim is a throwback to the early Age of Mythology maps where things were just super imbalanced. One player could get hunt in their line of sight, the other player could not. One player could get 4 town centers close to them, the other player would only have 1 town center close to them, and all of this other good stuff. Now, a lot of those imbalances don't exist here, but at the very least, this early game, hunt not being in your starting line of sight does exist. So we'll see how it's all going to go. Relic has been uncovered here. The Arrows of Alpha, plus 20% building pierce damage. This is a huge relic to grab here for Hades. I wouldn't be surprised to see that relic getting picked up very early. Also, the 25% wall cost reduction, Flagstone of Buhan, a very, very strong relic. It's super underrated because walls don't cost a whole lot, but you build a fair few of them, and if you build like a couple of different sets of walls, and this relic starts saving you 100 gold, starts saving you 200 gold. And if you compare it to, say, the relic which gives you like 20 gold a minute or something, this ends up being at least equivalent to that over the course of the game, if not more, if not better. So we'll see how things are going to go. Oftentimes we see oftentimes we see Greek players and Hades players specifically going for fast second town centers here on this map. The problem here is that it doesn't look like the town centers are that great. This town center is amazing, but it's so far away from Nullus's base. Now, if I was Nullus, I would actually, and I scouted this, which he has kind of scouted, I would actually consider trying to steal this town center really early, casting sentinels and just saying, lol, I get all this food, I get this wood line, I get a back gold mine over here behind my town center that I can kind of wall this top side off. This is a great town center. This town center over here does give access to a gold mine, that's fine, and a gold mine over here and wood, but no food here, so that's a little bit sad for him. But temple coming up. Let's see what Grassengroom has spotted. Grassengroom's actually already over here, so this one's going to be a tough one to get stolen here for Nullus in the end of the day here. But he will be able to send a forward Ajax in to harass this, so that's going to be a lot of problems for Grassengroom to overcome. So the easiest way to actually play this from Grassengroom's perspective, as he is very, very much struggling to get to the next age here for a 430. His economy is very behind here. He's going to be hitting the classical age super late. This is very un-Oranos-like. 7 villagers on food trying to get this one up. It's going to be like a 345 advance time. But what I was saying was the way to go about defending against the early Ajax on this location is you just bring your oracles back here around 430-ish, I guess, and your opponent is not going to be able to do anything because you just heroize the oracles. But Nullus here going for a very delayed advance time. 6 villagers on gold, 6 villagers on wood. That signifies a fast second town center if I've ever seen one. We've got the villager over here getting himself some favor as well, as the Prometheus is on the way. We haven't seen the oracles moving over here just yet, so this is going to be a bit of a problem for Grassengroom. He hasn't played around this. You'd think as an Oranos main, after enough times of being harassed by Ajax, you would like start defending it, but we are seeing him using the citizens to turn around and shank. This means immediate loss of resources every single time you do this. This is essentially the Ajax paying itself off. Essentially, right? As there's the advance there from Grassengroom. He's going to bring his Oracle back here. Heroizes it now as the Ajax going to come around. We'll see the Oracle popping out here. Everyone going to be bashing away. And Grassengroom drops himself his military academy and his counter barracks over here. He's got the oracles over here ready to spot what's happening on those locations as we see the Prometheans coming over here, but the Ajax does shank that one away. No problems there as the town center is going to get thrown up, and he does spot the oracle here as well. So Grassengroom, we'll see if he's going to be able to get over there in time. Generally speaking, it's a little bit too far to get over here when you haven't started training units just yet, as they're only now starting to come out. As the Ajax coming back in here, going to start fighting off against the Oracle here. But nice micro there from Grassengroom. As the units pushing in here, going to take this Ajax down. We've got another Murmillo coming in here as the Promethean making their way over here. There is already a Chiron on this position, as well as a Minotaur here to defend that one. Will be a dead Ajax here, it would seem, as the Valor does get chosen to get thrown down there. 1 Terma, 2 Murmillo. Generally speaking, I prefer to use Valor on 3 Murmillo if I can, but so long as you get a little bit here, it's all good. So I'm now seeing an attempt at a granary here from Nullus. I'm not sure he's going to be able to grab these aurochs, and we are seeing him deciding against that. Going to be going over to the berry bushes instead, being a little bit safer. But these villages still, you can still raid these and not be even in range of the sentinel, I guess. There's Grassengroom searching around. He does know that there's berry bushes here. He doesn't know where the check-ins are. He doesn't know where the rest of the resources are. So he's going to be searching for something to attack, but generally speaking, the first port of call to attack whenever your opponent goes second town center is food, because you know that your opponent is going to be struggling for food when they throw that town center up early. That's just the rule, because they've got 5-6 villagers throwing a town center up. They're not gathering food. The rest are on something else, so they just don't have the food to support the villager production. So cutting food here is really, really important. As we're seeing, Nullus taking the opportunity now to throw these cheap walls up. He hasn't put the... Did he put the relic in? I think he did. But Nullus is taking this opportunity now that the units are out of position here, not worrying about this hunt, to like start securing it. So a wall here and a wall over here will mean that this hunt can be grabbed very, very simply. So nice play there from Nullus to be doing that. But he is throwing away his Minotaur here, as the Minotaur does come in, gets a head bash there, but will get picked off, and the Ajax will fall as well here, as Nullus is going to continue to get these walls thrown up over here. 12 gold, 3 gold. Nice job there. So starting to see a town center getting thrown for Grassengroom. The standard play for System of Bast is here, negative 10% villager food cost. The standard play here for Atlantean is to get 3 town centers and then just rush Mythic Age. So we'll see if that's what Grassengroom wants to try here or not, as he's going to be retreating his army up to the top of the map. We see the Auroch getting eaten here, as Nullus is going for archery range, military academy. Now, I don't necessarily mind that as Hades. The problem is that you want to be making Hippocon at least a little bit, so that you can deal with those Terma. You can always go into those archers later, but we'll see if that's what's going to happen here for Nullus, if he's going to start getting some Hippocon a little bit later or not. But oftentimes the extra bonus damage that Hades gets from the Toxotes actually makes them somewhat pay themselves off. When you have enough hoplites to deal with what your opponent has here, it's kind of fine, as we're seeing the units pushing in onto this position as the wall's just about to get up here. The villager getting shot down, but Alt S is down. The villager will end up falling here, but the walls are up. The hunt is getting gathered. Nullus is going to be a happy camper here, as he's got the units out, and 60 population for Nullus to Grassengroom's 77 population. He should be fine here to hold this, as we see the Toxotes are able to sit behind the walls as well and defend that, as Grassengroom has to retreat back. We see the sound center now coming up for Grassengroom. So the question really does become, what can you do right now as Oranos with army? This is the question. should you build army now or should you tech? So there are three. I've said this before, but I feel like it's kind of important when we're thinking about strategy. There are three things you can really do when you're playing Age Mythology. First one is build military units. Second one is build economy, get more economy. And the third one is get technology. You can only pick two. Most civilizations can only pick to do two at once. So why build units at this point is the question. I think there is no real reason to build units here. Just go straight to the Mythic Age or straight to the Heroic Age at the very least, and then start building Destroyers and Arcus rather than getting all of these Terma out. Maybe just a couple is enough to like run around the map, harass and distract your opponent, making sure you're not getting raided or anything. But definitely canceling this army and going next age is going to be a really, really good way to play here. But that does obviously give your opponent the opportunity to get their third town center for free, but they have to be able to recognize that that's what you're doing, which may or may not be the case here, as Nullus is now moving over to this town center, and he is actually going to be going for this one. And now, well, we'll see if Grassengroom is going to be able to deny this. He does have himself Shockwave. He's got himself the Terma. He's going to attempt to hit these Toxotes. Terma are awful. Grassengroom just tried his darndest to snipe some Toxotes there, and by all means he should have been able to snipe some, but they're just drunk. They've been at the pub for too long, and those villagers are just now happily getting the settlement. The Toxotes didn't take barely any damage there, as now we see the army going to be pushing in. I think that Nullus is making a mistake here going for this, so we'll see if he's going to be able to utilize, I don't know, Restoration or something. There is a nice marker there from Nullus to pull back, but there's so many units here for Grassengroom, as Restoration does get dropped down, and this is going to be a tough one, as what basically Grassengroom can snipe these Toxotes even through the restorations. We see a little bit more marker there by Nullus. The villagers getting pulled off of the town center, as the army population here for Nullus, he's sitting at 80 population of 110, Grassengroom 117 of 145, and it looks like Grassengroom manages to make this one work here as the villagers retreat away, but Nullus down Restoration. Grassengroom gets value out of his army. This is exactly what Grassengroom wanted here at this stage of the game, I would have assumed. So Grassengroom now wins the first fight, has the 3 town centers, cancelled this town center. He's managed to kind of somehow, I would say his strategy has worked out, but not for the reasons it should have. If that makes any sense. Like, Nullus should have seen that the army was getting produced when he moved around, and then cut his own army and then go to the Heroic Age instead of going for this town center. But he didn't do that. So now Grassengroom gets everything he wants. He's going to hit a crazy fast Heroic Age here off of 3 town centers. The armory coming up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Thea coming in here to get the extra economy or the extra army in with those dryads to come through. And now Grassengroom can just retreat back. He is going for Hyperion here, so this is interesting. So I think the Hyperion essentially is a pretty all-in idea here from Oranos. So we'll see if he's going to make it work. We check out the gold mines here on the map. These are the gold mines at which Grassengroom needs to control in order to win this game. So he needs to prevent Nullus from getting this town center, and he needs to prevent these gold mines from getting gathered. This one doesn't matter so much. This one, obviously, that's going to be getting gathered no matter what. So we see the army pushing in. Now let's go in for this town center yet again, as the Terma fighting here as best as they can. We see the Chiron getting taken down. There's the Valor coming in. I don't necessarily agree with Valor just being used on cooldown. I feel like if you're going to the Heroic Age and you've got a Valor, save it for Destroyers. So much more value, right? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. So the army's fighting off here. It looks like Nullus might actually be able to win this one. Ever so slightly, if you can get the town center up. We see the next age coming through here. An immediate chaos getting thrown in onto this position, as it looks like Grassengroom here, he doesn't really have the production just yet. He's got the 3 military barracks getting thrown up over here, but he's not producing units. The town center getting awfully close to going up. These Chaos Toxotes aren't helping out as much as he would like to, and Nullus is seeming like he's going to get this town center up, which we said was a definite no-no here. Grassengroom has to retreat back. Nullus gets his town center, and Grassengroom has to reevaluate what his win condition is now that he's given away that town center basically for free. We see the market coming up, and Grassengroom looks like he is going for a very, very fast Mythic Age here, and he's going to go through Heckgate. He's going to drop that Tartarian Gate down somewhere. He's going to need to have some units which completely he basically needs to get mass infantry here in destroyers and in Murmillo. He's making himself some Contarius here as well. It's actually not a bad idea to go Murmillo Contarius destroyers against this army, but it costs a lot of food. We'll see if he's going to be able to manage to do that. He's making those Arcus here, and Arcus just don't really cut the mustard against the army which Nullus has constructed here as he's retreating away, and he's on full back pedal here as the play here from Grassengroom has not made a whole lot of sense. When it comes down to it, we see the Toxotes pushing in hard here. The Ajax in the back going to be looking to take down the Satyr here. The Toxotes, or not Toxotes, the Arcus focusing down that Chiron, trying to keep his Satyr alive, but they're only going to be living for so long as Grassengroom. He's in a lot of trouble here. It might be actually best for him to stop building Satyrs and go in straight away on Lampedes here. They're really, really strong units at this stage of the game. As Nullus is now nearly full population. I'd say he's probably at full population, 145 population. Already through Aphrodite, plenty of resources in the bank. Got plenty of farms here as well. Lots of villagers on the favor here, getting himself the Nemean line. Lots of favor in the bank to build more Nemean lines if he needs to. As Grassengroom, he doesn't even have does he have a position that he knows that he should put his Tartarian Gate down in? Doesn't look like he does. We see the army or the Contarius coming in here. We'll see where he wants to throw this down. Maybe on some houses here. Maybe on the temple over here. We see the villagers pulling off on this position here, trying to surround. Nope, they're just moving to a different location here as that Chiron comes out. There's the Tartarian Gate getting dropped in onto this position. Going to hit this location here. The villagers coming in to target down that Tartarian Gate there as the army now coming forward for Nullus. We've got the Lampede here going to immediately turn that Nemean line over to Gaia, but the curse does get dropped as well as the Nemean line now just has to get dealt with as the villagers come through. We see the hoplites returning back over here to take this out. The shockwave getting used here. No masons in for Grassengroom just yet. As the Ajax here is going to be taking down these Tartarian spawns nicely. The hoplites coming in, the villagers retreating off of the Tartarian Gate as the hoplites going to be swinging in onto this position to take this one down. And we'll see how it's all going to be going here as Grassengroom coming up onto this position to take down these Toxotes. This gold mine over here still has probably about 3,000 gold left in it. So it's still got plenty over there. But we've also got Nullus on this gold as well. So Nullus is spreading out nicely. Walls going over everywhere as Nullus is controlling this game beautifully here. And Grassengroom has got himself a whole bunch of Satyr. He doesn't have a palace out. He doesn't have any way to siege this town center, which would have been a really, really nice play if Grassengroom had thrown a palace down on this position while this is all going on. But Grassengroom, he's got the resources for it. He's on this location, actually, on the top location here with the palace. Going to be able to start taking this town center down. We see the palace here a little bit too close to the town center. He needs to re-throw that back up here. As Grassengroom, he's got one fire siphon coming out. The problem is that his army is dislodged here. It's not close to his fire siphon. That's going to pop out, and his villagers are going to be able to take this one down. As we're going to start seeing the units coming through for Nullus here. Nullus has got plenty of resources. He's throwing the market down. He's going to be going to the Mythic Age. He gets his fortified town center up here. It'll probably be completely fine for Nullus to go through Artemis here. Even doesn't even need the Hephaestus, as we see one Satyr getting taken down here. Another one potentially, well, we aren't seeing the Achilles able to get in here. Another one going down very fast as Achilles completely destroys those. We've got the Chiron in the back. Going to start taking down more of these myth units as the fire siphon is now coming in to take down the fortified town centers. But 6 hoplites on the task to deal with this as Artemis now coming in for Nullus. Nullus, does he have any villagers on favor? Not really. Not going to be thinking about making those Chimera here. Just simply going through Artemis for that earthquake, it would seem. as another palace going to be coming up on this position. The Fire Siphon retreating back. We see Nullus pushing in, going to attempt to snipe down these citizens that don't really have an easy place to hide. Grassengroom right now, 135, 145 population. His economy is very, very much in pain here, as he's not able to trade well against the Hades at all, as we see the palace just about to get finished up here. We'll see if it's up. We can see this hero citizen is just doing work. As double palace is here, this might not be the best place for Nullus to be fighting, though he does have his talent center helping out in the back here as well. But double palace here with the villagers repairing, it's never going to go down here, as now Grassengroom is relatively set up on this location. However, Nullus has got himself an earthquake on the way, which will clean up both of these palace and give Nullus a little bit more breathing room in this game. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it or not here, as the Fire Siphon are rolling in. We'll see if they're going to be able to take the town center down anytime soon, as more units coming through here for Grassengroom. He doesn't have the upgrades barely at all. He's starting to make Fnatic though. But Fnatic, I mean, yes, you want them, but Nullus' army is gigantic. Look at this army. It's absolutely out of this world big. As we see the gate getting taken down here. The Fire Siphon going to be going after the fortified town center. But with one earthquake, do we see a fortress up somewhere? Yes, we do. That's going to be immediate Heliopoli, I would assume. Not only that, we could probably see Nullus thinking about putting pressure over here. And Nullus has got this gold mine and this gold mine secured as well, as we do indeed see the earthquake getting thrown down over there. Palace, both palaces fall, gives Nullus the go-ahead to move out here, taking down the Lampedes and everything else. Grassengroom has to retreat back. Nullus' economy is gigantic. Nullus' economic upgrades are probably pretty good, as well as his armor upgrades are already starting to get in. He's got himself a huge amount of economy. Fully upgraded wood, fully upgraded gold. Going to be getting fully upgraded food very, very soon here, as he's just hit the Mythic Age, I'm sure. As Nullus pushes in this Lampede in the back, he's doing some good work here, as we see the Clontarius trying to come around the back side here. But Nullus happily taking these fights. He's probably got tons of military buildings up as well, as he's able to do that. We see the Chaos coming in. That's a beautiful Chaos, though, by Grassengroom. He hits the Chimera on the back to hit those Toxotes, and now Nullus has to retreat back. We see the Ajax getting created, the Chiron and the... I don't even know how I said that. The Chiron and the Achilles coming out now for Nullus, as the champion Toxotes sitting in here. And we'll see how things are going to go, as that Chimera will end up being picked off. But Nullus now looking to push back in. He's got champion Toxotes, 9.75 damage per second. You compare that over to the medium Arcus, which only have 6.6 damage per second. That's like over 3 more damage per second that Nullus is doing here, as he pushes forward, starts taking out these units incredibly fast. We also got the Hades Shades that need to be dealt with as well. Huge shockwave though by Grassengroom, as the Heliopolis is going to start pushing in. Grassengroom's army just does not cut the mustard in this point of the game. 20 minutes into the game, you need to have Palace up, you need to have Destroyers up, you need to have upgrades through as the Oranos, but it just seems like Grassengroom has not managed to get the economic upgrades that he would like out fast enough. As we see in that moment, Grassengroom realizes the game is lost. He's too far behind. Nullus is absolutely huge here, as this is just an absolute I don't know, textbook approach to the Hades versus Oranos matchup from Nullus. Now, if your opponent is playing textbook textbook Hades, effectively trying to counter what Oranos does as best as you can, you have to play around that. So the thing is that Grassengroom went for something very, very bizarre, I would say. Grassengroom had access to this town center, had the advantage in the army, but instead decided to go for a fast Mythic. He'd controlled the town center. Everything was great here. All he needed to do was, instead of going Mythic Age, drop a palace or 2 down over here, get himself heavy upgrades in the infantry and archers, and then start making himself Destroyer Arcus, as well as maybe some Murmillo to mix in there. And he would have been completely fine to hold this, and then Nullus would have been in a difficult position. Because he wouldn't have had gold here, but instead going for the weird Mythic Age, dropping the Tartarian Gate down, taking a fight before the Tartarian Gate was actually dropped, just meant that Nullus had basically just said, lol, that's a low value Tartarian Gate, kill that, come back, defend, all good. no wins there for Grassengroom. Grassengroom managed to set up the palace over here, but the earthquake was perfectly fine there from Nullus to clean all that up. And then it's just GG. That's the one. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.